Hi everyone, I know that I said in my military girlfriend tag that I wasn't going to do an update video tonight, but tomorrow is my day off, so I figured why not, I have the time. So there's just a couple things I want to talk about tonight, but this video will probably still end up being pretty long, so I'm going to get right to it. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that today, well, this week is Jacob's first week at boot camp, and so that means tomorrow is Black Friday. So I'm a little nervous for that. I think the hardest part will be not knowing how it goes for him and not being able to know for a while. But I'll definitely be thinking about him extra tomorrow, because if you don't know, Black Friday is like the day they get their DIs, drill instructors, and you can search Black Friday bootcamp videos, and it's a notable day. So just watch some videos on it. Maybe I'll post them in the link if I can find some right away. So yeah, tomorrow is Black Friday, so I'm gonna be thinking about him, and I'm a little nervous just to know like what he'll be going through. By far, today has definitely been the hardest day for me since he left. It's been like a mix of emotions. I'm not mad or angry that he left, but it's starting to hit me a little harder. Like I'm sad. So yeah. Okay, anyway, the first thing that I wanted to mention was this Facebook support group that I am now in. And I wanted to mention it because the way it's set up, I can only imagine that they have one for every graduating date. So, like, Jacob is in, like, the Lima company. So the support group is, like, the Lima company support group for, like, family and friends. And it's a closed, private group. So you either have to find it or be invited to it. And then in order to be, like, accepted to it, you have to, like, tell them your relationship to the Marine and which Marine your relationship is with. But I wanted to mention this group because I can only imagine that every company has a group like it. I think it's being like adminned by people, and I think the group was like made by people who are also part of like the MCRT San Diego main Facebook page. So it's like a legit group, and it's full of links and like good information, and then as well like just support, so you can connect with other girlfriends, wives, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, family members of Marines who are going to be graduating on the same date as your Marine. So I thought that was something to note. So if you aren't already a part of a Facebook support page, you should try and find one for your Marine's graduating date, because I bet it's out there, and it's been a nice thing to be a part of. I think the one negative thing about the support page, though, is like today I've had a lot of extra time on my hands, which is probably why this day has been harder than the rest, because I've had so much time to just think. But the one bad thing about it is like reading everything and reading all the links. It makes me like a little anxious and nervous, and like I think it's good, but at the same time it could just be so much easier to just keep busy and not think about it. So reading it makes me think about it, which makes me miss him more. But I'm glad I'm a part of it, and so I would definitely recommend trying to find one for your Marines graduating. And if you are part of the support group that I am a part of, I'd love to know that and get in touch with you, especially if you're a girlfriend of a Marine graduating on the same date. So we can support each other. Anyway, The next thing that I wanted to make note of is about writing letters. I did find out that it is okay to, in your envelope with like your letter to your Marine, you can put another envelope with like a address label and a stamp. So I'll give you an example. So here I have an envelope ready to go without, see, it has a return label already on it, and when I get his address I will write it here. But then inside the envelope, this is just one I prepared for when I write another letter, so there's no letter in here yet, but I have a smaller envelope, so as you can see it's smaller, fits in, and it has the same label but in the where it's going to spot, I don't know what you call that, and then a stamp ready to go. So when Jacob opens my letter and reads it, all he has to do is write a new letter, throw it in here, and send it on its way. And a lot of people recommended doing this because it speeds up the process. Like, they don't have a lot of time, and so if it's just ready to go for them, it makes it a lot easier, and you potentially could get a letter back a lot sooner than you might if they like write it and then have to find the time to get a stamp and stuff. So it's just ready to go. I honestly don't believe this will be a problem for him because I've read multiple places that this is okay. This is not considered like contraband. But obviously if it's a problem for him, I will let you know and I won't do it anymore. But I really don't believe it will be a problem. Otherwise I don't think it'd be like a tip that I've read on multiple sites. So I have a couple of these envelopes ready to go. So all I gotta do is throw my letter in and send it on its way. Another thing on that subject I wanted to make note of is I thought that it would be okay if, like, my mom didn't want to write a letter to him, so if she like got a like inspirational card and just wrote a small note in it and then sent that in like just a white envelope though. And apparently it's not even good to do that, like even if it's in a white envelope. And I guess some Marines enjoy getting cards and they think it's worth the like grief that they'll get for it. But I would ask before you send a card. Definitely no singing cards or like noise makers or huge pop-ups, but just like a basic card. But I would definitely wait and ask your Marine and see if that's something that he would be okay receiving, and if he thinks his DI would be okay with him receiving it. Because you don't want to get your Marine in trouble, or your recruit in trouble. And you especially don't want to get him in trouble for something that his whole platoon will then get in trouble for, because then that's on his shoulders and then that's on your shoulders. And just make sure you ask. But I did get confirmation from multiple sources that sending the empty envelope is okay. So feel free to do that. Yeah. Okay, another thing I have learned since my last update video is that the date, you will most likely get an address for your Marine on the first Friday, which is Black Friday, from like your recruiting station. So his recruiters from his office back here in Minnesota will contact like his parents with an address. And you can send letters to this address, but just know that this address could change very easily. Like in the first couple weeks, that address could change. And if you send a letter addressed to it, excuse me, and then his address has changed, he could never get either your letter could be returned to you, or he just never get it, or it would just it'd be lost forever on the base. So what I'm doing is I have a letter prepared and ready to go for when we get that first address, and it's just kind of like a test letter. Like, it's still inspirational and it still has like things I want to say to him, but it's just one piece of paper in a small envelope, and it's like a test, like see if he gets it. And if he doesn't, then I'll know that address isn't right. But your Marine should write back to you within 2 to 3 weeks for max with his correct address. And chances are that address you get will be right. But just know that if you're sending a big letter to him, he might not get it. So if it's like an important letter, make a copy of it before you send it or something, so that like you still have it, because it would suck if you wrote a letter like my official first one and it got lost. I would be devastated if this got lost. This is in one of my bigger envelopes. It's all ready to go, as you see. And it's like 12 pages because I wrote every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's like 12 pages of everything I want to say every day, and just like stuff to keep him entertained, like what's going on in my life and my days. But if this got lost, I'd be devastated. So I'm going to wait to send this, unfortunately, until I get a letter back from him to my first letter. It kind of sucks because I want to get this sent as soon as possible, but I think it would be worth the wait knowing that it will actually get to him. And then also, like, it's very likely, like, if I have, like, this many letters I'm about to send, that they'll go all out of order, and he'll get them all mixed up. So, you don't want to have, like, anything on the outside of your letters other than the stamp and addresses, but I read that it is okay to, if you can see this, right there, on the envelope, I have numbered my letters. It's backwards for you, but 1, 2, and I'll keep numbering them 3, 4, 5. So if he gets like 5 and he hasn't gotten 4 yet, he'll know that like there's 1 missing in between there that he'll probably get in the next couple of days. So those are just some more advice things about writing letters to your recruits. Okay, next thing is something I've learned from that Facebook page I was telling you about. There was a link to this site that I'm looking at right now. I will post the link to it in the description of this video. But it's, let me tell you what this site is. It's just usmcgradsandiego.org/usmail/. So, and like the title to this is why, let me make sure I say this right, why your Marine gets your letters so much slower than you get his. Okay, so the link describes it probably a lot better than I'm about to, but basically it's saying like he sends a letter on a Sunday and you might get it by like Wednesday or Thursday. You send a letter on a Sunday and it gets to San Diego, or it gets to the base by Wednesday or Thursday, but then it has to be like passed around, so they get separated by, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. It gets separated by I don't know how to say this word, battalion. So first, second, or third, and then once it goes to like each battalion, that takes like a day or 2. Then it gets broken down into like the company. So whether it's like Charlie, Delta, Lima, Echo, Fox, like whatever company they're in. And then once it gets broken down into the company, it takes another day or 2 to get broken down into the platoon number, which each like company has a certain number of platoon members. And then finally it gets to your Marine. So it ends up like it could take 7 to 10 days for one of your letters to get to him. But he could send you a letter and it could get there in a couple days. So like if your Marine is writing back to you like, hey, why aren't you writing me? Like, you are. Just know that he just hasn't probably received your letters yet. And it sucks, but that's just the way it is. So don't worry though, he will receive your letters 7 to 10 days, so expect that. That's why it's important to date your letters and number them, so that if by chance he gets them out of order or something happens, he knows like what's coming. Okay, my last tip for you, which may seem pretty obvious, is save every letter that you get from your boyfriend or girlfriend. Save every letter. Like, those are important. Don't get rid of them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Target or something and get like a nice like decorative box, and then I'm gonna store all the letters that he sends me in there. Um, my dad was in the Navy, and my parents are divorced now, so it doesn't really matter anymore. But my dad was in the Navy, and when I was a little kid, I was like in my parents' closet, and I found a box, and it was like all the letters that they had written back and forth to each other, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Like all these love letters that they had saved, and it's just, I think it'd be something really cool to look back on. So like if you put all the letters together, it'd be like a little storybook of you guys writing back and forth to each other. And like these 13 weeks are an important part of your relationship. Like only being able to talk over letters is a challenge. So if you guys get through this and come out strong, or even stronger than you were before you went into it, that's something worth remembering. So save those letters because they're a big part of this whole time. Okay, well that's all I have for you tonight. I will probably be back tomorrow since it's my day off, thank God. I can only imagine how hard tomorrow is going to be for me though, because I will have a day off, so I won't be busy nannying. That's my job. I nanny 2 kids, 2 amazing kids. But I won't be busy, so they won't be distracting me. And knowing that it's Black Friday and knowing what he's going through will be extremely difficult. So if you're going through a similar thing tomorrow, or any Friday that you're watching this, or Thursday night, knowing that tomorrow is Black Friday and you have nothing to distract yourself, find something to distract yourself. Like I have a list of things that I'm gonna do or try to force myself to do that I usually wouldn't just go and do. So like I'm gonna vacuum out my car. Like it's not a necessity, but I know it will keep me busy. I'm gonna do like every piece of laundry I could possibly find to do. I'm gonna like vacuum my room and take my dog for a walk, and I'll probably write, well I know I will write another letter tomorrow, and I will do a video tomorrow too for you guys, and myself. I do these videos for myself, so yeah, so that's tomorrow. I'm kind of nervous to see how it goes, but I'm strong, and you are strong too, so keep your chin up. We can get through this, I promise. Even if I don't sound convincing, we can. So, have a good night, stay strong, and subscribe to my channel if you like my videos, and send me links to your channels if you're a Marine spouse or girlfriend or wife, whatever. I'd love to be in contact with you and watch your videos too. Okay, so anyway, have a good night. See you all tomorrow.